over and over again. All right, if no questions, then I'll move down to the next answers. Those first answers, 21 is B, 22 is C, 23 is C. All right, let's go down. 24 is budget. Can I mark, underline multiple choice answers? Well, I don't know what you mean by can you mark it. What does that mean? Can you mark it? You have to put your answers. You could write on the test paper, but then you have 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. You understand that, right? Yeah, when the audio is playing, you could write whatever you want to write on the test booklet, right? But then you have 10 minutes at the end of listening to transfer your answers from the test booklet to the answer sheet. You could write whatever you want on the test booklet. Yes, I only mark questions. There's only enough time really to underline the questions. What is the best way to learn synonyms? You have to study a vocabulary list that uses synonyms. And really, to be honest with you, the best thing to get better at doing it is analyzing exams like I'm doing now, right? Going when you do an exam, a practice exam, go back and listen and pull out the synonym language, right? You have to get better at recognizing it. I don't underline the answers because there's no time for that, and that's not what's important, right? What's important is the language in the question because that's what the answer connects to. I don't want to underline words in the answer choices because I'm not listening for exact language. Okay, that's why I don't underline it. If you're start underlining language in the answer choices, that's going to pull you towards listening for exact language. You don't want to do that. Okay. All right. So here are these answers for 24's budget. They said has its own budget. They did a word order switch. 24 says budget of its own. When they spoke, they said has its own budget. So here we switched. We switched the language. 25 is employment affected by employment laws. They said 26 is safety, right? She said how to ensure their safety. They did a pronoun switch. Instead of using customers, they used they use a pronoun their. How to ensure their safety. Take the safety of customers. 27 is insurance. They didn't say required. They said you need to have. 28 is diary, right? Diary. And they said diary of a well-known politician. Here it says famous person's diary. Again, word order switching around. Switching the word order. Famous person's diary versus diary of a well-known politician in synonym language. They didn't say famous person, they said well-known. 29, the answer is database. All right, they said local organizations like sports organizations if they keep a database. Right, so again, we're dealing with word order switch. Here it says has a database of local organizations. When they spoke, they said local organizations if they keep a database. So again, we're dealing with word order switch. Synonyms, word order switch, synonyms, right? That's what they're doing to you over and over and over again. It's not a long list of skills you have to master, right? It's not a long list, but you have to master those strategies and tactics. Number 30 is museum, and they said part of a. That's the same thing as NA. NA, part of a museum, right? That's our synonym language there. Uh, any questions? You can study synonyms. There is a vocabulary list that has synonyms on it. Also, one thing I think is good in terms of studying vocabulary is studying the vocabulary words that are studying the vocabulary words from the answer keys. Right? Look at the vocabulary words that they're choosing as answers. Right? Go from test 5 all the way to go from test 5 all the way to test number 12. Look at the answer keys. Pull out the answers for listening. Right? Those are great vocabulary words. Okay? And you find synonyms for those words. That's another way you can practice with synonyms. Okay. All right, so let's go to our last section, section 4. You can do the same test over and over to improve your listening. Somebody asked me that question. Um, you can start it with a capital letter or a small letter. I mean, to be if I'm writing it on the test sheet, so it doesn't really matter how you write it on the test sheet. But just I know why you're asking me that question. If I were writing the word budget on my answer sheet, I would write it with a small b probably. Okay. Just like I wrote employment with a small b, I would probably write safety with a small s. Okay, that's how I would write it. And let me look and be sure. Yeah, I think that yes, for your answer sheet, right? Those words like budget, employment, safety, insurance, you want to write those with a small letter. I was typing this, and my computer a lot of times will automatically capitalize something because I'm typing something. But if I were writing this on paper, you would write budget with a small b, employment with a small e, safety with a small s, insurance with a small I, diary with a small d. Right? That's what you would do. Museum with a small m. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. Do we negate answer, pick answers? I don't. Okay. If you're asking me about strategy for multiple choice questions, I'm going to advise you to go watch the lectures in the course. I'm not going to go through a breakdown of multiple choice question strategy because there are lectures that talk about that. And really, this is more about application of strategy. So you got to go and watch. That's all broken down in terms of multiple choice strategy. Okay. How am I, um, Tim? How am I calculating what? Your question is how am I calculating? There are calculators online that will calculate your reading score and calculate your listening score. Um, I will send a link to those online calculators, and you can then look at it that way. Okay, 28 out of 40 is like a 6.5. Okay, I know what they are because I've been doing this such a long time. But 28 out of 40 is 6.5. Can you please make clear why you put some words starting with capital letters? Okay, I just said that when I was what you're looking at here on the screen, I'm typing this on like the answer sheet. So when I'm putting something on the answer sheet, I don't care if I don't care how I'm capitalizing or anything on the test book I'm saying. I'm on the test. This is like writing on the actual test. Right? So I'm putting down when you're taking your test, right? And you're writing on the test, not on the answer sheet. When you're writing on the test, it doesn't matter how you write it on your test, right? If you're putting it on the answer sheet, then you want to make sure that you put it correctly, right? Basically, in terms of capitalization, if it's not a proper word, proper noun, then you would put it in small letters. Right? So on this paper right here, if we were putting all of this information on the answer sheet, we would put small letter B for budget, small letter S for safety. When I was typing this, I was typing it very quickly, right? So I'm not worried about how it looks on a test booklet, okay? If I were putting it on an answer sheet, then it needs to be done correctly, okay? That applies the same way for you. When you're putting your answers on the answer sheet, don't worry about how you're writing it. Don't even worry about if you're spelling it correctly on your test booklet, okay? When you put it on your answer sheet, you need to spell it correctly. Some people, what some people do is this: like if they're writing an answer on the test booklet, you don't have to write out all of employment. You could just write EMP on your test booklet. When you put it on your answer sheet, then you put EMPLOYMENT, right? What's on your test booklet, it doesn't matter. Okay? I'm doing the exact same thing that you would do on a real exam. Does that explain it? No, you cannot give all answers in capital letters. I don't know where you're getting that from. I don't know why you all are saying that. If you look at any answer sheet, go to the back of any Cambridge book and look at the answer sheet. They're not written in all capitals. Right? Technically a grader can mark you wrong for doing that. They might not do it. They